Welcome back. Yes, I did get a haircut. Thank you for noticing. They finally opened up the barbershops in my area, so I was able to go get my hair cut, which is excellent because I was starting to look a bit like a Sasquatch, and it's getting hot outside. I need that hair gone. So I cut off most of it. Stick around, we're getting in the video. I'm filming this video on the National Stop the Bleed Day, so if you want to go check out the video that I have out for that, then you can go ahead and hop over and go check that out. It's called the Cat Tourniquet versus the Soft T Wide, and it kind of discusses some of the pros and cons over the two most popular tourniquets on the market today. So if that's something that you're interested in, please head down to the link down below and go give that a check. Got a lot of other videos that you might want to check out as well. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you got anything out of this video and this helped you in any way. It really helps me out and helps me to keep the lights on, keep bringing this content to you. So if it does anything for you, hit those buttons. So I like to have a family safety meeting at least once a month. And I just kind of collect all my family together. I've got 3 savage little boys and then my wife, of course, and me. And we just all collect us up, all 5 of us. We just sit in the living room or wherever we are at. And we just kind of talk a little bit about safety. We talk a little bit about what to do in a fire. Of course, we're going to talk about medical, and that's the thing I talk about. And then, maybe some personal safety, personal defense, home defense, that kind of stuff, maybe. We talk a little bit about where the kids might go in an emergency if they can't find me or my wife. Where do they go? They go to the neighbor's house, they call 911, they do all that kind of stuff, right? Where's the fire extinguisher at? Where's the medical kit at? We just kind of go through all of those things and try to keep it kind of fresh and in the forefront of everybody's mind so that everybody's like, oh man, where's that fire extinguisher? Because even if you have a fire extinguisher, you have a fire extinguisher, a lot of people don't remember where that fire extinguisher is at. So double checking and keeping that fresh in your memory is a pretty good deal. Now, during these family safety meetings, I like to talk with my wife quite a bit about kind of some pediatric trauma medicine, which is always a nice thing for her. She's always very interested in that kind of stuff. A couple of years ago, my youngest, Valen, got his finger stuck in the chain of his brother's bike. So my oldest son, Cannon, had his bike upside down and was turning the pedals to make the tire go around, right? Chain was running around, and of course, my youngest thought it'd probably be a great idea if he just put his finger in it, and it got caught in the chain, between the chain and the sprocket. What was that wheel called? Sprocket? I don't know. So he gets his finger stuck in there, and it's stuck pretty good. And my wife, of course, hears him screaming, comes running out, tries to, help out a little bit, and she cannot get his finger out. She doesn't want to leave him because he's like 2 years old and doesn't want to, jerk his finger out and rip that end off. It was just a big mess. They couldn't find any bolt cutters. I was away at work at the time. But eventually the paramedics showed up with the bolt cutters, cut him out, and we took him to the hospital. Everything turned out fine. He lost the tip of his finger, so he's got a little nub there now, but not a huge deal. He's gonna be fine. But anyway, so she really cares about all this medical stuff. So I usually try to talk with her again and kind of walk her through something new and then kind of go over something that we've already discussed in the past, and she picks that up. So I thought this time I was gonna film it. And I wanted to talk with them, of course, about the tourniquets. That's something that we've been talking about previously. I started them off with telling them about how to apply direct pressure on the wound. I had each of them lay on the floor, and then they all tried it on each other. And then my wife would try it on them. And it was also a little bit of kind of an experiment, right? Like I wanted to know if 1, they could get through all the steps, 2, could they do it quickly enough? 3, could they apply enough turns to the windlass to stop blood flow to an arm? And I was pretty surprised. I didn't have very high hopes when I went into it. I thought this is kind of technical. I've taught this to a lot of adults who really, really struggled with it. And I didn't think it was going to be a very quick exercise. And of course it wasn't. We went into a lot of talking and discussing and all that kind of stuff. But I bumped up the realism. I poured on some fake blood, had a little fake wound on my arm and then let them pretend to be the hero for the day. And they loved it. I pulled out that fake blood and started pouring it all over my arm, and they thought it was the coolest thing ever. I was really surprised. I showed my 5-year-old first. I coached him through it one time, and then I let him do it himself the next time, and he did it perfect without any problems. So of course, I'm going to say that if a 5-year-old can do it, obviously you can do it. But at the same time, it's important to know that anybody can be a hero. This is why we want to keep our med kits in a very accessible place. And then if we have kids or grandkids or something like that, we need to be teaching them this stuff. This is something that they can take with them throughout the rest of their life, and it could be applicable to them. Now, their times weren't the fastest. I think they were sitting right around about 1.5 minutes or so. I'll have to double check that, but they weren't really fast in that. And you want to be quick. Now, you do have some time. It takes around 2.5 to 3 minutes or so to bleed out from a femoral artery. So you do have a little bit of time, but you don't want to be wasting time. And they were going pretty much as fast as they could. I think they could get a lot quicker with a little more practice, which we will be doing in the future. But what I was really interested in is, could they apply enough pressure to the windlass in order to get it cranked down enough to stop the bleeding? And I was fairly surprised that yes. I told them, hey, you guys need to crank this sucker down as tight as you can get it. And they did, and I had occlusion of the artery. So I thought that that was pretty impressive, and something that, you know, you might be able to get this medical kit, put it in your house somewhere that even like your 5-year-old can get to it, and they can use that medical kit to save somebody's life if they had to. And they might be saving their own life, and they might be saving their brother's life. And since they've got a brother like Valen, that is 100% possible. So I wanted to make sure that they had the skills and resources in order to fix their crazy little brother. Now, I have to continue to train with my boys on this. Next month, we'll go over it again. The month after that, we're gonna go over it again. We'll probably do it sooner than a month, I imagine. A month is kind of a long time in little boy world. So we'll probably go back over it, but we have to make sure that they're gonna retain it. That little bit of training that I did, it's great. It's a good introduction, but it's not going to teach them this, and they're gonna be able to use it later on. Like if I tried to have them come in and do that again, they might get it, they might not. But if we're constantly working on it, we're revisiting that training often, then they're more likely to retain it. And that's true for all of us. So one of my points of this is, you know, make this a fun thing. You can make it fun. I had some of that fake blood and a little wound that I could put on, and that really put it over the top for them. They really enjoyed, you know, pretending to be a hero and run in there. And I was, you know, pretending to be hurt, you know, and like, oh, you're saving me, you know, kind of stuff. Try to make it a little more realistic and fun. And they took it so seriously. They want to be heroes. They want to be superheroes, and they just did a fantastic job. So make it a fun thing, and people will want to come back and do it again. I like to kind of treat it like family game night. We just hang out, have some fun, learn something important, go over some safety stuff, and then have a good night. And it's summer. It's a great time to be outside right now and doing this kind of stuff. All right, guys, that's it. Thanks for joining me today. If you got anything out of this, it's to train. Train yourself, train your loved ones, revisit that training often so you don't forget it. Everything is perishable if you don't continue to learn it. So stick with it, stay at it. Once again, if you liked what you saw, you got anything out of this video, please don't forget to hit a like and subscribe. It's a free way to show me that you appreciate what I'm doing, and it helps me keep the lights on. So I really appreciate everybody sticking out with me today. I'll see you in the next one.